for years, Shannon and Ace Page longed for a family, but they couldn't seem to make it happen. And so they turned to IVF, and they then fell pregnant with extremely rare identical triplets.
Well, they were then faced with the agonising possibility that they might lose one of their babies, but they never gave up hope, taking all three home with them. We'll talk to them in just a moment, but in the meantime, Gargi Patel has a look at their journey.
A dream come true 3 times over.
Really nice, strong heartbeats there.
After 5 years of fertility struggles, Shannon and Ace turned to IVF, falling pregnant straight away with extremely rare identical triplets. At 17 weeks, Shannon's pregnancy took a turn. Doctors discovered the babies shared the same placenta, and it was unlikely all 3 would survive. The couple were advised to terminate one of their babies. Instead, they followed their instincts and let nature take its course. All 3 boys were born premature but healthy at 29 weeks. After 75 days in hospital, Shannon and Ace's Christmas wish came true, and they finally brought their babies home.
Oh, we got another one crying. Ready? He's crying.
Now learning to juggle life as a family of 5.
Probably a very busy family.
3 in the cot, that's quite a lot. We're incredibly happy to have Shannon, Ace and their 3 boys, Cruz, Enzo and Aljo. Well, obviously, congratulations.
Massive
but I suppose I should say
congratulations.
commiserations as well, because October the 6th from now on is going to be a very expensive day for you.
It is indeed,
It's going to be a triple birthday present day. No, really, it's absolutely marvellous and so rare to have healthy, identical triplets, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like way below 1%.
Yeah.
A possibility.
Yeah.
Well, talk us through it, because when you realised you were pregnant with 3, all the perfectly sensible, perfectly sound advice from your consultants was you're going to have to actually not have one of them. Yeah. What was the reasoning behind that?
Because obviously there was only 1 placenta. Obviously, it's a higher risk. A triple pregnancy is a risk anyway. But because they shared everything from the 1 placenta, it's even more of a risk.
Right.
Not only to them, but to me as well. Obviously, it's quite a ask.
Whereas if there were only 2 in there, those risks would drop.
Yes, yeah.
Well, you see, that's kind of cold-hearted professional advice.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to ignore it? I'm so glad you did, as you must have as well.
We felt that it happened for a reason, didn't we?
Yeah, and also intervening came with risks as well. And we kind of thought that if we intervened and something happened, we'd be left thinking, what if we hadn't have intervened? So we kind of decided between us to let nature take its course and hope for the best, really. We kind of said they're here for a reason, so we think it'll be OK.
That must have been an agonising time, though, because I imagine you had the elation, hadn't you, that the IVF had worked, that you were pregnant.
Well, that's it. It was the journey to get them.
Yes.
And then someone was telling me that, oh, actually, you might not have them.
How hard was that time, then?
Yeah, hard. Really hard.
Because when we first went for our scan, they told us it was twins, so and there wasn't as much risk with that, so we kind of had a few weeks of just non-stop excitement.
Yeah.
And then it was only when we went back and they said it was triplets that it kind of all turned a little bit negative from...
Tell us about that moment when you discovered it wasn't twins, but it was triplets. Who did you get the news first?
Yeah, we were both in the room. I had my 9-week scan, and they literally said everything's fine, but we found another one.
Oh, and how did you feel then?
Well, it was an hour journey home.
Yeah, we didn't speak.
Oh,
no, we didn't say a word.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
But listen, you made the decision that you wanted to keep them all to make that situation work, didn't you? And I know that meant a change for your life, didn't it? Because you then obviously did it involve more monitoring? What happened from that point onwards?
Yeah. So obviously, as soon as the babies started to get a bit bigger, they started taking more from me, and obviously I struggled.
Can you describe that? What do you mean?
So, they just took everything from me to the point where I just kept passing out, and I just couldn't. Day to day just was impossible.
Did you have to have lots of bed rest?
Yeah, so I went on to bed rest at week 19, and then ended up on hospital on trips several times, didn't I?
Yeah, there were several times where I'd go to make her some food or go for a shower, and I'd come back and she was unconscious.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
it was a scary time then.
Yeah. But, you know, we're glad that we did it.
Yeah. And were the drips they put you on, were these nutritional drips?
Yeah.
They were kind of replacing everything.
Yeah, everything that I was low on, because if you imagine, obviously, one baby takes enough out of one person.
Absolutely.
But all three.
My God.
Yeah.
So, OK, so if you had bed rest from week 19 and you gave birth, was it week 28?
29.
29. So
Yeah.
that was 10 weeks. You basically were stuck in bed.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. And then when we hit 24 weeks, obviously we knew that the babies had a bit more of a chance.
They were viable by then,
yeah, so we moved, started staying in Airbnbs in Bristol to be close to the hospital because our local hospital couldn't do triplets.
OK.
They couldn't,
So you
because
wanted
you need
to make
3 of
sure
everyone.
that you were nearby.
Yeah.
What was the journey time from the Airbnb?
From the Airbnb, we made sure we were within 20 minutes.
Right. Wow, it's a really full-on experience, isn't it? I mean, all pregnancies are full-on, but a triple pregnancy is a full-on experience.
And then they were in neonatal intensive care for some time, but as we saw, the beautiful thing was that you were able to bring them home for Christmas, which must have just been so special, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was getting to the point where we thought we might not, wasn't it?
It was getting close. The 16th of December, we were kind of thinking that we might have to spend Christmas in hospital, but luckily...
So what condition were they in when they were born?
Well, that was the thing. They all came out crying. Which
Really?
Obviously, yeah. At that point, when they said, right, yeah,
Did you have a cesarean or were you
yes.
induced a cesarean? Right, yeah.
Yeah, so the day that they said, right, yeah, you're going to have your babies today, obviously it was that we didn't know what to expect. And all 3 came out crying, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which was amazing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't suppose you filmed that, did you?
No, we didn't.
No,
actually,
we
did
didn't.
we?
No.
All right.
No, probably had quite a lot going on.
I was just going to say, you might be a little bit more.
And how was it then? You know, obviously you've got them back. I mean, you know, as a lot of parents will know, it's sort of full-on bringing a new baby back into the house anyway.
Yeah.
But I cannot imagine bringing 3 new babies back into the home. How has that been?
Yeah, hard work. I think people think that sometimes we're maybe not telling the truth. Obviously, I say, oh, they never sleep, they just cry, they do this, and then every time someone comes around, they're perfect.
As you can see now.
As
you can see now.
Right now.
Look at
But
that.
they
wouldn't mount, but
They didn't sleep last night until 4:30 in the
Do
morning.
they sleep at the same time? Do they wake each other up? How does that work?
they
They wake
do.
each
They
other
do
up.
wake each other up.
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And even just getting around, I imagine, with 3 of them must be hard work,
Oh,
isn't
it takes
Just
a
the
lot getting out the
organisation.
door, doesn't it?
Yeah. Getting the train up here was relatively difficult, but we managed quite well, didn't
Yeah. We don't know any different, which I
That's the
think
good
helps.
thing
I
with
guess
that.
that's
We
it.
have
no
You
other
just make it
children.
work. And their name choices, I have to ask you about this, because their names obviously spell out ACE. Is that a coincidence?
We had no idea.
Yeah, we didn't
It was
know
only your
until
mum that
after,
once
yeah.
we...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she
coincidence.
pointed it out, but we had no idea.
That's great.
Yeah.
Where do you get a triple buggy from? Where do you shop for a triple buggy?
We got ours imported from Poland because
Yeah.
all the ones over here, they're one on top of the other.
Right.
And we didn't really think it was fair on the one underneath. So in Poland, they make one where they're all... It's like a triangle, so one...
Yeah, we just saw it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we had to get that
I'm
imported
so
from Poland.
pleased for
yeah.
you both. It's just such a special moment. How do
Thank
you
you.
feel then now about having them, the fact they're here after everything that you've gone through?
It's just amazing,
Yeah.
isn't it? And I mean, stuff like this, you know, it just makes us realise how lucky we are and how crazy it is, really. You know, our TikTok as well, and just the reception from everyone has been amazing.
The thing is, they are identical. You know, and I mean, most babies look pretty much alike, don't they?
Yeah.
But as they get older, they're not going to change from each other. They're going to be looking and sounding exactly the same.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll use that to their advantage.
How do
for
you,
sure.
can you tell them apart now?
Shannon seems to think
I
that she can.
Yeah.
Can you
I
really?
can, yeah.
OK,
But I mean,
all right, hang
I
on.
think I'm... Yeah,
Which is which?
this is Cruz,
Yeah,
that's Aljo,
yeah.
and that's Enzo.
And how can you tell?
He's obviously very little. He's
a
a
bit
lot
smaller,
smaller than
okay.
the rest.
He went through a bit more,
Yeah.
so he...
Yeah.
And Ace, can you tell them apart then?
Well,
or are
I'm-
you just like, this is one and this is another? And...
Well, I am glad you didn't ask me that. No, I can't tell them apart.
I think
no.
them
Just
two are the
Cruz
hardest
because,
ones to distinguish.
Yeah, Cruz is smaller because he had some infections and stuff, so he's got some catching up to do. But no, these two, I don't know which ones I'm holding.
Well, the one thing is, I mean, we've got twins, and they're identical boys. But actually, although they look identical, as they grow up, their personalities are a bit different.
Yeah.
And that's reflected in their faces.
It'll
And
feel
you'll see that as those three get older. They'll look at... To you, you'll be able to spot them because you'll know their personalities.
Okay.
Thank you so
Absolutely
much for
amazing.
coming in and bringing them in
Thanks
to
for
meet
having
us
us.
today. It's been wonderful. Big congratulations to
Thank you
you.
for
We're
having
delighted
us.
for you.
Thank you
we
so
really
much.
are.
Happy New Year.
Yeah,
Happy New Year to
thanks,
you
Kate.
too. Thank you.
Yeah.